Coming up on the Daily AI Show,
a 25 to 30% increased use of voice.
Some non-China manufacturer will actually start manufacturing light-based chips.
we're going to see a boom of edge AI.
The biggest push yet in hyper-personalized education platforms.
The AI actually being able to rewrite itself.
What's going on, everybody? It is the Daily AI Show. It's Monday, December 30th. You made it. You're here. Welcome. Because today, Monday, is our 2025 AI prediction show. With me today, we have Beth, Jyunmi, Andy, I'm Brian, and we might have Karl maybe popping in the door here in a little bit. So what we're going to do today is what we actually did last year. We did it a little bit earlier in the year. I think we made a smart move by going so close to the end of the year, with tomorrow being New Year's Eve. But we did this on episode, I think it was 76 of last year. We made our 2024 predictions. If you missed it on Friday last week, we discussed whether we were right, wrong, or partially right or wrong about our 2024 predictions. So now that that has passed, we've done the scorecard. We know what the matrix is. We know which one of us has clearly got the crystal ball. It's time to do it again and see who has the best crystal ball for 2025 in generative AI. So I'm really excited about the show. It's definitely one of my favorites of the year. Although I do feel, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's more pressure this year somehow. Maybe because it's the second time we're doing it, because we just looked at our 2024s. Welcome, Karl's here as well. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit more pressure this year to come up with some bangers here. So we were just okay. So I'm going to give a quick background and then we'll jump into. We were just saying we have a good idea for next Monday's show, which is to say, like Jyunmi and I and all that. We're like, yeah, I don't know. We're talking about we didn't say our predictions. We don't know what they are yet. We're going to share them live, so we all learn together. But we're saying like, yeah, I don't know what's that batch. You know what? Like crazy idea. It's
audacious.
Next Monday, it won't be a prediction show, but we're going to go off the rails. We're going to talk about the stuff that could happen in 2025 that's a little farther out than predictions, but still could be really, really fun. So come back to us next week as well, because we're going to have some really fun discussions about the data centers in space and things like that are like really cool, fun ideas and topics to talk about in the generative AI space. Okay, so there's your intro to it. I'm excited to get into this one. And as always, we try to pick out somebody who's just like Jyunmi usually says on Wednesdays, who's itching with a really, really good prediction, who wants to start us off. But there's a lot of pressure here. You got to start off strong. So who's got a really good prediction for 2025 that they feel good about?
I do.
Oh, Andy.
I don't think this is like a point prediction as much as it is a progression prediction.
Okay.
That's supported by what's happened recently in 2024 with the emergence of agentic AI. And I think that while we talked about, 2024 being the year of agents, I think that was true in the respect that there was a lot of development of agentic capabilities at the sort of the cutting edge, at the sort of the, let's package together, some demos of what agentic AI can be. And in the long run, we expect that agency in AI and embodied AI, the merging of agents and robotics, is going to be a real thing. I don't think in 2025 we're going to see much more than demos of that kind of robotic or embodied AI agents. But what I think we will see is that there's going to be a solution to, and so let me just jump in and say, I don't think it's going to be, you're going to have an agent that is a personal assistant and can do all these things for you. And you'll be able to sign up for such a thing, and it's going to be fully satisfying that way, in large part because the reliability of any one LLM or any one agent is questionable. And so you don't want to allow agency to a single agent entity. That's not the way it'll work. I think what we're going to see developed in 2025 is crews of agents that interact with each other in a way that creates a council that comes to a collective solution for you rather than a single agent acting on your behalf. So there's a company called Crew AI that I think has been founded on this concept, which is okay. We're not going to have just a single, comprehensive, advanced intelligence agent that's working for you. There's going to be a bunch of little action-oriented agents that have specific domains that work together in a group and come together to resolve an objective that you've assigned to that group of agents. Now, how do you actually deliver that in the marketplace? That's a trick. But I think that's where the sort of the ice breaking is going to be towards this vision that I have of a future where embodied AI, that is robots with actual capabilities to undertake actions in the physical environment for you. And I know everybody's moving towards humanoid robots, but I don't think that's going to be where they emerge first. I think it's going to be this combination of digital agents in a council that you can call upon, and each one of those agents can counsel with and confer with the other agents in that crew, and that's gonna be the way that really advanced capabilities are delivered to you. And my final comment on this is that AI has been pretty unreachable for the mass population. It is something that we've been playing with for 2 years now, and it takes a lot of time, effort, and understanding in order to get real good work product out of it, and that's why, as yet, only 6% of even enterprises have accomplished effective delivery of AI contributions to productive workflows. Just 6%. But agents and crews of agents will make it much, much easier for you to simply give AI as a general concept an assignment. And though that group of agents will be able to deliver that for you. And that's how AI is going to be simplified for the masses.
Okay, so I want to make sure, Andy, that for the sake of the transcript, when we look at this next year, we pull out the insights. So I'm thinking about future Brian here. Here's a prediction. Future Brian is going to look at this transcript and when we go to set up our review show. So can you just summarize for me? I think you had 2 predictions there, but can you summarize quickly those 2 predictions just so we make sure we put a point on it?
Sure. Okay, let's see if I can distill it down. Um, in 2025, we're going to see major companies that are involved in the development of AI deliver we have mixture of experts models. We're going to have mixture of agents services.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be mixture of agents services where you can selectively call on multiple kinds of agents to work for you and assign them together a task, and those agents will talk to each other in order to collectively arrive at your objective.
I did have one question on that. I was listening to another show, and they were saying about open and closed protocols. And the one thing that I'm curious what your take on this would be, will companies like a Salesforce close their ecosystem essentially to say, "Hey, you can't use that agent in our environment. You can use only our agent in our environment." And same thing with because there is a point when I don't want to use their agent. I want to use this agent, or I want to use Salesforce agent to access this, and companies are closed it off because they don't want you to use that agent. They want to use someone just brought it up, and the thinking was eventually it'll
Will
open,
be
but we don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right that there will be walled garden agent groups. And Salesforce is at a leading edge of that kind of implementation. There's no reason to go to the open source agent crew kind of approach if you are already using Salesforce in the sales context or in your ERP context within the corporation. So you won't bother to go out there. Why? Because Salesforce is going to be moving forward to make sure that all the capabilities that you could get from other service providers delivery of such agent groups is going to be available within the Salesforce one, so that you'll stay within that little garden.
I think they'll try,
I
right?
don't know if they'll be They will
I-
try.
But
I
so
think
we will see it. I don't know that it will be successful.
The walled
Right.
garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you give your agent full autonomy, like give your oath essentially to access, like just like you are able to access any program that you've paid for or subscribe to, then technically if there's a all-encompassing agent, wouldn't that thing, it's as if you're going. It's as if you're doing it with your authentication, with your credit card, and doing all those things. So it's very tough to stop you because essentially they're stopping you. I don't know. It's a very interesting
I think
conversation.
the difference there, it's a great point, Karl, but there's a very big difference from an agent exploiting an API and you signing in on your desktop. And I think that what's going to happen is they will be able to have their AIs determine whether it's actually you operating this thing. Just captchas are becoming very sophisticated in their ability to identify whether it's a human or a bot that's interacting with their system. And if the walled garden really wants to make sure that there's no leakage, if you will, from the wall, then I think they will have AI capabilities to do that. But that's a very interesting and I think sort of associated but not primarily important question about what's going to happen in 2025, because the people who are using Agentforce at Salesforce are probably not going to simultaneously have another agent that they're using to use Agentforce in 2025. Now, eventually, I think that's an important thing that is going to have to be resolved.
It's funny that you're talking about Salesforce because I'm not sure that's our best example, because there's a big pain point in trying to integrate the information that's in Salesforce and in these other tools, and agents are perfect for that. But I want to do the thing that Andy typically says, which is if you are watching us on LinkedIn, like where are you? Because I know you are, Jeff. Thank you. We appreciate you. We can see your chats, but we can't chat back. If you hop over to YouTube, you'll be able to chat with us. And what Jeff chatted about was, Andy, can you turn up your mic a little bit or get a little closer? All right. Done with admin. Brian, what's the note?
No, I thank you. I want to say I do want to keep moving. I know we can bear down on agents. That's a big bear, right? But this is a prediction show, so I want to make sure we keep moving there. I will throw in my own prediction though, just because it's off. It's an offshoot of Andy and what Karl and Beth you guys were just talking about. I do agree. So here's my prediction: we will see more agent-like workflows, but I'm going to say they're closer to workflows still in 2025. And I do believe they'll show up in OpenAI and also tools like Perplexity, who has already shown that they're working hard. They've made some investments in other companies. They bought other companies who connect easier to Google Docs and Slack and things like this. So I think Perplexity is going to be a big player here with these agentic workflows. But I definitely believe, just like we have custom GPTs today, whether they continue on that, Karl and I have talked about this, that track of calling them custom GPTs, or they actually release a new sort of product inside of ChatGPT or OpenAI that's specifically for agentic workflows. I absolutely believe OpenAI will be pushing hard to keep that moat growing, get it deeper, put some alligators in it so that we all want to stay inside the castle walls of OpenAI. And one way to do that is to be first to creating truly beneficial to the end user agentic workflows. And no, I don't think they're going to be go buy me a pizza or transactions that involve money, or like we keep seeing these like pie in the sky things like it'll plan your trip and also get your plane. And I'm like, whoa. I definitely want to be the human in the loop there. I do not trust you. But that's way down agent stuff for me. I think in 2025, what we're talking about are really workflows that are a little bit smarter. They're ingrained with AI. They're a little bit smarter than what we have today. They are able to go, quote unquote, off on their own and do some work on our behalf without us directly being involved. So it's like human in the loop, but I think human in the loop gets spread out a little bit where we don't have to touch it so often. That's what I believe. But my real prediction here is just an offshoot real quick, and then I'll stop on the agents, is that a prediction in 2025 is yes, we will definitely see more walled gardens because it makes sense for the company. It makes sense for Perplexity to be first to the starting line with these types of workflows. Because if we all start using them, it just makes us more ingrained with a tool like that. And they're not the only ones, but I know they are actively working towards connecting to things like Google Docs and probably Notion and Slack and other things. So are they going to become another Zapier or Make, or are they going to be truly a place where we can get like these agentic workflows? That's to be seen. All right, who's got another one? I got more, but Jimmy, we haven't heard from you yet. What do you got for prediction?
Yeah. With the advent of specific hardware coming out, Hilo came out with their AI processor, single board processor, and Jetson was announced from NVIDIA. I think the second half, probably, in the second half of 2025, we're going to see a boom of edge AI applications,
Mm-hmm.
right? I would say in 2023, 2024, there wasn't enough of the hardware out there, or it hadn't been in people's hands enough. But I think now is when we'll see just rapid development on that side. Any touch point with how people use things, I think that's where edge AI is going to live. You're going to start seeing AI enabled every device, really, and it'll just be in people's homes, in people's hands, however they would implement. So that home electronics space, I think we're going to see a big increase in AI adoption, in the fact that it'll be in the hardware. Nothing that people have to touch, in the sense of like, putting in prompts and all those kinds of things. But I think that'll be a hockey sticks for development on that side for 2025.
Can you give some, like, just, I'm not trying to pin you down, but can you give some specifics? Because you're talking about kind of Internet of Things, AI at the edge. This is adjacent to one of my predictions, which we could talk about or not, which is lightweight AI models that are able to live actually locally on these devices. But let's say that's not even there, Jimmy. What are some like quick examples or use cases, whether it's maybe going to a store or maybe it's a business application of that edge device? Maybe it's a Ring doorbell cam. I'm not sure, but where does your brain go when you think of like 2025? What's a device or a couple devices that we would potentially see AI at the edge?
Yeah, the Ring doorbell is a great example. I think we will see all of the incumbents. They'll be adding AI to their process. That's a sticker that's going to go on the box, right?
That's a good prediction.
Yeah, I think that level of consumer electronics is where you're going to see it, right? A lot of it might be partial, updates from the internet, but most of it will be crunching on the hardware itself. So security, home security. We're talking about things like power management, temperature management, HVAC systems, everything you'll see in the kitchen. It'll all have those aspects to a certain degree. I think a modern AI-enabled refrigerator, beyond some of the simple things that we've seen already in the Internet of Things kind of application, but we'll now see bringing up, I don't know, recipes based on the things that it can visually recognize in your refrigerator, just off the cuff. That's the level that I'm talking about. There's more integration for web applications in a lot more of the appliances, like, for example, washer dryers, right? They can now connect to the website for information or for latest updates and things like that. But
or similar devices.
right. And then on the AI side of things, you can have more of an interactive piece where it'll do a diagnostic and tell you, hey, it's time to change this filter, or you may want to someone, it how your car will tell you, right? Because it's got a full computer in your car nowadays for most cars.
Multiple computers.
Multiple, yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll just say, hey, it's been 20,000 miles. You need an oil change, period. That kind of thing. So this is where I see more of that implementation. And then, of course, the toys. You're gonna see the little robot dogs and animals and all of those kinds of things be a little more available. It would be interesting to see things like iRobot kind of robo vacuums and those kinds of things get a bump up in its capabilities. I think a lot of these may just be sold with the sticker of AI, and it's just something that they've been developing for machine learning and those kinds of things. But I think in that whole edge computing or edge AI space, you'll see a huge bump up in there. Now, what you won't necessarily hear unless you're in the into the spheres is how people are building more and more edge AI into their single board computing side of things.
Right.
Like I've just been seeing people just build like mini rack servers of just tiny computing devices and things like that. Now that's more on the hobby side of things, but I think what'll develop out of that side is more practical applications. You can put more everything that you might need where you thought you would need an entire big old server to do in a waterproof box, and that can inhabit any external location. So if you've got you want to extend the capabilities of a tower network, you can fit more and have more capabilities on each cell tower, because now you can put that entire edge AI right there without having to go back to a larger, CO or anything like that. So I think it'll be all of those kinds of things across the board that you're just gonna see a big bump up in.
And so this is a good, we'll jump on to the next prediction, but this is a good stopping point to mention that a lot of what you're talking about, Jimmy, is this edge technology. One of the single best places to learn about that actually happens starting a week from tomorrow, and that's CES. That's the big trade show that goes on every single year. We always say like that we didn't make it this year, but next year I kind of think some of us will be there talking or be presenters, or at least we'll have media passes, because our show's actually growing. Thank you to everybody in the comments and everybody who subscribed and liked to us, which make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. That's literally how we get access to these types of trade shows and get invited to them, is by us growing. And we almost hit the threshold this year to go out to CES. So if you want us to go to CES and be doing the show live from Vegas or wherever it is in 2026, like and subscribe. You're helping us a lot, and we'll be able to bring you better content. But that's January 7th and 10th, literally a week from tomorrow. So next Tuesday to next Friday or Saturday is their CES. And so I just wanted to bring that up really quick, because Jimmy, one of the best places to learn about what's coming is going to be CES, and we are
absolutely
a whole lot more AI edge stuff, and we will have shows about that next week as things come out, because that's always a super interesting. Yeah, the rabbit.
Last year, Rabbit was announced at CES.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a ton of that. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up, and we will have shows not this week, but obviously next week, once those big stories start coming in, we'll definitely have a show about CES and what's new and what's cool, because it's a huge thing, and AI is such a huge integral part of it, that's the place you're going to find out that now your toaster oven can talk to your microwave, can talk to your dishwasher, can talk to your fridge, and they all know when to get you new ketchup. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be like, that's kind of what we're going towards with smart devices. Okay, let's move on to more predictions here. I want to keep going around the horn here. Beth and Karl, I don't think you've done a prediction yet. So do one of you guys want to come up with your next prediction?
Sure. Karl, we couldn't hear you. But
Go ahead, Beth.
Cool. My prediction is that we will see more innovation with the chips. So I think the US or some non-China manufacturer will actually start manufacturing light-based chips. The challenge with that will be whether they can get the price down enough because it's a new design, right? So they'll be expensive at first, but it's so it uses light instead of electrical impulses, which means that it's way more infinite in terms of our ability to create and write with it, or transfer with it, I guess is more accurate. Um, and China is already doing this, so we're not going to be the first, but I am very hopeful that we will be able to benefit to a certain extent. And that's just light. Like, I'm interested in that. I think there will be a bunch more innovations, like the Mm, I'm trying to remember and now I can't come up with it, but like chips that are organized in different ways so that maybe the neural infrastructure is like baked into the chip, right? Wasn't there it wasn't large language model, but there was a specific chip designed for language models, because the ones that we're using from NVIDIA were designed for gaming and like that kind of that kind of needs. It just happened to overlap. So chip design. Those are my predictions. Specifically, they will start being manufactured for production in 2025.
And thank you, Beth, for answering that at the end. And like, I love that you guys are going back to the end and being like, specifically, this is my prediction, because I know that's hard to do, but man, that's really going to help us next year. Or yeah, this time next year when we're doing our review show to it. Okay, very cool. Light chip production. I like that.
But also the large language model specific processor that you're referring to is the LPU from Grok.
Yes.
Very
Grok with a Q.
Q.
Yeah, I know.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Groft and Grok. By the way, thank you to all the comments that are coming in. Gwen, you're awesome. Justin, I see others in there too. They just scroll past me, but you guys are putting in some predictions and questions in there. We will leave time at the end of this show to make sure we get to those as well, because you guys are being awesome for putting those in there. So hold tight. I think we'll pull a few of those, as many as we can, and we'll give you maybe some rapid fire answers based on people in the comments. We'll try to do some maybe quick predictions that we didn't even prepare for. Maybe there'll be some winners in there. Okay, Karl, I want to make sure I get to you to get your probably first prediction here. So what's a prediction for 2025?
For me, it's the increased use of I think the one piece of just one thing that people underuse, or I've seen underused, where even though the tech is kind of been out for a while, there's so much you can do with it. It's, I would say, a 25 to 30% increased use of voice in an AI capacity, whether you're talking to advanced voice mode, or we're now seeing like voice type interactions, quote unquote voice agents that, whether it's 11 Labs have built it, Play AI has built it, built into your RAG system, just being able to interact more in, whether it's in business or personal, with voice, because I think it's an easier interaction than sometimes a lot of times typing. And I think we have the capabilities now to be able to have those full interactions, and wherever agents take us, voice should be accompanying part of that, because you want to be able to tell your agent what to do in addition, in not just typing, right? You want to have a full conversation, and the agent would talk back, say, did you mean this? Did you mean this? Yes, I meant this, not that, this, and so on. So to me, I think that would be that's one big piece. Are we only doing one, or are we just doing?
No, no, we have more. I'm trying to go around the horn. Like, hey, not fast if I don't want to. It's difficult, right? Like, I want to make sure that we have time to respond to what one of us is predicting, while also making sure that we have a good chunk of prediction. So I'll throw a new one out there, but we can keep it short. I think my prediction is we're going to see a big push in 2025. Like, 2025 is going to be the year to see the biggest push yet in hyper-personalized education platforms. So we've already seen what Economigo could do, and wow, were they ahead of the game with what they were doing. I mean, just truly, truly amazing stuff. But like my daughter, Karl's daughter, like I just think this is the year where maybe Karl and I are going to have discussion as parents because we have similar age kids, and we're going to go like, yeah, my daughter or our daughters are using this AI assisted thing in their school to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's a particular subject, maybe it's just in math, maybe it's just in history, whatever. But I definitely think this is the year 2025 is like, we're just going to hear about this, and it's going to become so common that we're going to see our students. And I'm not, just to be clear, my prediction is not that like, oh, some kindergartner is going to have an AI helper and it's going to follow them to high school. That's coming, not in 2025. I'm simply saying that we're going to have purpose-built in schools available to students, hopefully with equity, so all can use it, but in schools, the ability for students to start having these AI helpers, especially as context windows grow longer. I think you're going to have context windows that span an entire semester or quarter of school and follow that student from the front to the back. And the reason I say this is because we already know, like my daughter has multiple, at least in Florida, there's multiple, they're called fast tests now, and they're like markers. And they give them one at the beginning of the semester. I'm like, how much do you know about this? Well, not a lot. I haven't learned it yet. Middle of the semester, middle of the year, how much do you know about this? Oh, my grade went up a little bit. End of the year, where are you? Did we hit the curriculum, right? And so I think AI is obviously a huge part of that solution to make sure that every student eventually has the personalized attention and help they need through AI. So I just think 2025 is going to be a massive year for advancements in that. All right, who's next? Andy, I feel like you started, but you haven't gone in a bit. What's another prediction from you?
I'm looking forward to seeing a number of sort of research centers and forward-thinking AI developers move faster toward AGI with the development of autonomous AI development, meaning the AI is creating new AI. We know that, from the theorization about what happens with the singularity, if the people who have been futurists about that, that one of the key elements of that is the AI actually being able to rewrite itself and advance its own capabilities. And I think you're going to see autonomous AI development delivered in 2025, and not in a comprehensive way, but you're just going to see facets of AI development happening by AI itself.
So maybe not Prometheus, but moving in that direction.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Craig's in the comments. He's like, what did I miss? Missed a lot, Craig. That's okay. That's why we record these, and you'll be able to watch the replays of it. But Greg and Gwen, you're already doing it. If you have any predictions that you want to make for 2025, or you want us to get those out so that they can be put in the canon, you can't, we'll review them next year. We'll be like Greg said, we'll be happy to do that. So just say, to make it easy on us, if you have a prediction for 2025, just put my prediction in your comments and then tell us what it is. If we see that in the comments, we will read those before the end of the show, and you will 100% have your prediction recorded for everybody to hear and see, and we will make sure we bring it up again next year. Great. I have a prediction, 12 actually. Well, maybe pick one or two, Greg. All right, let's keep moving because I want to keep moving fast-ish or whatever, so we get good predictions out there. Beth, why don't you hit me with your next one?
So my prediction is that pushback on AI gets bigger. So that the people who are invested and using it and finding value, that pool is going to grow bigger, and it's going to get a lot of coverage. And the pool of people who are absolutely not, this can't happen, it's ruining our brains, it's ruining things, are also going to get bigger, and there's going to be evidence on both sides. And I also predict that the sort of wise path, or the path that gets both value, will be lost. That nuance will be lost, right? Like, there are ways that if you rely on AI, to do things for you, you are developing less skill outside of the skill of using AI. But um, but there are ways to address that, right? Like it's like you still need to engage in a particular kind of learning if you want to be able to have that skill outside of that. I think that's going to be a big headlines, and I hope it's a nuanced discussion, and I really don't think it will be.
I heard two predictions there. I just want to be clear. One prediction was a larger backlash, pushback to AI as a space. The second one was more of a general washing or generalization of writing results. What was the second prediction?
The second prediction is like the equivalent of, sorry, Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where like beer bad. So AI bad, right? Like it's just going to be complete like, okay, all AI, nope, we don't want any of it. Or all AI, yep, it's great. And I think the people who are really in it will not be doing that. But I do think that there's going to be like a schism as opposed to just like a bell curve or something.
Okay. Jimmy or Karl, you're up next.
Yeah, I have something that might be tangentially connected to what Beth was talking about. I think there will be a major negative event with AI or AI based or connected to or whatnot.
Like a data breach, is that what you mean?
Data breach, or there'll be active bad actors using a specific thing, AI related thing to accomplish a goal. And this may spark the larger schism that Beth is talking about. To what degree we'll see it, talked about in like a mainstream news and things like that, I'm not exactly sure, but definitely in the AI space, there'll be a big deal. In terms of how fast AI is, we're due for one. And I haven't seen enough out there talking about AI in cybersecurity being advanced enough to already circumvent. I'm sure it will be a mad style, back and forth, like with everything that's tech related. We did this. But we did this to stop this thing. There'll be tons of that. But I think it's still a little behind of where it should be. And I think that whatever that event's going to be, that could possibly trigger that larger schism, or we're going to see a response from larger organizations. And I think it'll just be large enough to where it's not, just water under the bridge or anything like that. So
There's certainly a
a little bit on a downer note, but I think there'll be at least one next year.
No, I think you're right. I mean, there's a lot of people waiting to say, I told you so. There's a lot of people waiting to say, I told you AI wasn't as big and bad as everybody said. Like they're relying, they're putting their reputations on that. So you're right. Like one significant data breach that is involved with AI or generative AI, or somebody confirms that, what they put into ChatGPT got leaked, and it was sensitive data about their company or whatever, something like that, right, is going to catch fire. So I think that's a really good prediction. And you're probably right that it won't take much for it to catch fire in the news. And that will be the thing that goes across all the platforms. Of course, we'll all be sitting here as people who talk about this daily go, number one, it's not as big of a deal as they're making it out of the news. Number two, they just need to knock somebody down. Like that's just part of it. We all like to see something fail, so I think that's a really good prediction on it. I do want to bring in a prediction from Gwyn, and I said I do this at the end, but this one, come on, we got to say it now. Prediction: the Daily AI Show will be the go-to show for daily for millions. Yep, done. It's been said, locked in. I think you're right, Gwyn.
It's not a prediction. That's a win. Isn't that a win? That's a win. That's not a prediction.
What will happen in 2025 on that? I do want to do some maybe fun daily AI show predictions, just because I think that'd be fun. But we'll do that at the end here, and we'll have some fun with that. Maybe we'll come up with some cool questions. Okay, I don't know about going around the horn. I mean, I certainly have maybe one more I could throw in there, but Karl, I don't think you've done a second yet. So can you throw it in another prediction?
Yes. So the one I predict is that AI roles will increase by 30-40%. Because if you actually go on Indeed, LinkedIn, or wherever you go find jobs, you'll probably start seeing a lot more AI whatever. Like last year I saw maybe 4.
Yeah.
And then, but now you'll probably see a lot. And we're talking outside of software engineers
Yep.
or AL ML specialists or AI ML specialists, but like actually just especially ones that are in businesses as they start looking at adoption a little bit more, you'll probably see a lot more internal roles, which is I think they're going to be more on the enterprise level to start with, for 2025.
I think it's a great prediction. Well, number one, that's good for all of us, right? Like for all the people who, do consulting like we do or work with other companies or work specific, like I work for Scaled specifically. I think that's really, really good news. I agree with you. 2024, it's been kind of hard sometimes to say what it is maybe a Gen AI consultant does. I've certainly run into that. And I specifically work with sales teams on the Scaled side of things, but you're sort of defining the role as you go because there hadn't been these sort of clear benchmarks or guardrails around some of these roles. But you're absolutely right. This is something we saw Rachel Woods talk about over a year ago, is like, these are going to, like any new field, these are going to coalesce. These are going to be some defined guardrails around it. And then once companies can wrap their mind around what that title and job and role are, I definitely agree with you, Karl, that we're going to see a proliferation of these roles because companies are going to be able to say, I know what that does. I know what I should be able to expect from that person and their ROIs and KPIs, I should say, right? And like, that's probably kind of part of the problem is like, you have companies that are like, I would love to have an AI specialist at my company, but I don't know what they would do. And I don't know how I would measure their success. And that's tricky. But that I definitely agree is going to get a lot better in 2025. That's a great one. Okay. I think let's just open it up now. I think we've all at least done 2 or 3. Who has a few more in there? We're good on time, but like, let's start moving maybe a little bit faster with some of these, and then we'll get to the comments, and maybe we'll finish up with some quick daily AI show predictions just for fun at the end of it. Who wants to jump in with another one?
Okay. Quietly behind the scenes, the legal profession is being transformed by the advent of AI. And I think in 2025, you're going to see that progress to the point where, we get more and more media attention to the emerging fact that a lot of the things that lawyers have been trained to do are being replaced by AI. And so I think that there's going to be news in 2025 about the impact on law as a profession. I think you'll see it first at the number of people who are applying to and seeking admission to law school.
That's a good prediction.
Like down.
Hit it down.
Well, one friend of mine told me that like for anything related to being I can't remember the distinction between a lawyer who doesn't go into trial, a trial lawyer, sorry, it's stupid, trial lawyer and a barrister. I think he says like for anyone who wants to be a barrister, you may want to rethink what you're planning to do, just because a lot of those transactions, while you still need like a notary or something that is verifiable, a lot of those transactions, a lot of people can do on their own, and they're as good, if not better, than going to a lawyer and asking advice or getting to draft up whatever you need. And also on that note, it'd be very interesting what billable hours means, because how can you bill something if a lawyer can do it in less than 2 minutes? It's like, wait a second, you didn't take 45 minutes or an hour, you took like 2 minutes because you chat with your team.
Right, Karl? Like there's a whole show about value-based selling and how there's going to have to be a huge shift. That could be a prediction in itself. As a 2025, we see a bigger push towards value-based selling because you're not going to be able to just get away with billable hours when people are going to be like, but we can also press that button. So how are you going to give me results? Which kind of goes back to these new roles and guardrails and all that stuff around what these roles are and defining them, because that's absolutely right. So I think that's a really good, that could be a prediction as well.
So this just occurred to me, but I'm going to jump on what Karl said. I predict that roles like notary will be challenged on whether AI can be a person enough to be a witness and a documentarian. Those sorts of things where we have like somebody needs to be there. Does that somebody need to be human now?
Maybe an AI plus blockchain type solution. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, I have sort of a silly prediction, but I'll throw it out there. Yesterday, you guys know this because I think I told you off camera or whatever, but I think I did. My wife bought me a robot massage. This happened yesterday, guys. I went to Orlando and the company's called Escape, AESCAPE. There's a company. They were only out of New York doing in Equinox gyms, like the high hoity-toity, like, I don't know, that's what I think of Equinox gyms being. And I was following them probably on TikTok or something like that. And it's quite literally 2 mechanical arms that you lay down on a massage table and it does a back massage. Okay. Well, it came to Orlando, which is close to where I am. It came to the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando. And I was like, I told my wife about it and she surprised me with a 30-minute massage. So I actually drove over to Orlando and got this yesterday. Now, this is kind of AI. I'm going to tell you why. Really quick. You lay down on the thing. There's a lady that comes in. You have to put on different clothes that are like, help it with like the reduced friction, sort of like almost like tight Spanx or spandex, right? Like it's tight to the body so that the arms, the mechanical arms, it analyzes and does a scan of your body. And when I tell you it has pinpoint accuracy into certain muscles like you would if somebody was kneeling in with a thumb, I am not saying this is a replacement and all masseuses are out of job. No, nothing like that. But very cool to see the integration of like an AI and pinpoint accuracy and the technology and everything else. So my prediction in 2025 is that type of technology is absolutely going to grow. I absolutely think there's a space in the market for it. There was whole kind of conversations in my house about, pro human massages versus non-human massages. And I'm kind of like that. I don't want the chit chat and the whole thing. Just give me a good back massage. I still feel amazing from yesterday. So my 2025 prediction, kind of silly, is that we will see more of these types of devices come to our hometowns using AI as part of those processes. So robotic.
Describe what the arms or whatever was massaging you looked like.
I will, you know what? Let's keep moving and I will pull up a picture because it'd be much easier just to show it to you from their website, but give me a second to do that. But it's basically like 2 Kumba arms. Yeah. I don't know however else to describe it or whatever, but whatever you think it's going to be, it's better than that. That's what I will say about it. It was pretty amazing.
And also, I feel like many other daily AI show hosts would be willing to be guinea pigs in your expansion. Should you have a gym or a hotel chain or something that has this, we would love to talk about it on the show. Hit us up. I am not kidding.
That is a great idea, Beth. I like that. Let's meet AI where it's at in hotels, resorts, amusement parks, any travel locations. We should even analyze how it's being done globally so that we all go to Paris and we all go to London.
100%. I'm willing to be a sponsor for Escape. Hey, pull it up real quick for me, Beth. I'll do 2 seconds because we're going to move on from this. This is what it looks like, though, because everybody wants to know. This is literally like what it felt and looked like. You could see the arms. You could see that has more of a flat face to it, but then it also has like the bottoms there. Those turn and rotate. It is completely silent. It's not like you hear the robot moving around and stuff. Which I thought was interesting. It's not like, meh, 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 which would be funny if you were getting a massage and it sounded like mechanical arms moving, So anyway, AI in really cool space, moving into a field that maybe we didn't particularly think we saw, but super, super cool stuff. I'm so excited yesterday. I told my wife, I forgot that part of it was actually getting a massage because I was way more excited about having a massage from 2 robot arms doing needling and stuff. So there you go. Okay, let's move on to Karl, get your mind out of the gutter too, because I feel like everybody's mind goes to the gutter when you talk about robot massages. So mind out of the gutter. I could see the smirk on your face. I didn't even have to, you don't have to say it, Karl. I could see where your mind
It's already happening in the chat.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
When you said the moment you said 2 robot arms, you're like, well, that's the end of that. And it's like pinpoint accuracy. I'm like, you know what? It's like it's like you're setting yourself up for this. This is not this.
Hey, can I tell? This is on that point though. So part of it is a glute massage. Well, we could just replace glute for butt muscles, right? So like it's a massage. And I even told my wife after. I was like, here's the thing. Amazing massage. Not gonna my butt's never felt better today. Amazing massage. But here's the thing, like if it was a human, I'd be like, wow, those hands are there for a while, you know? But because I was a robot, I was like, do your thing, robot. Stay as long as you like. I'm not mad at it. You hang out. Keep going. I'm not feeling weird about this at all. So do the left, do the right, come back to the left. We can do it all day. Hey, do your thing, robot. I'm telling you, it's very freeing. It's very freeing. Anyway, Gwen says,
You know what? I'll do my prediction, which I'll go completely the opposite of that. I do think with advents of 03 and everything else that's going to come out this year, I believe a major disease will be cured. Like it's to me, it's inevitable that whatever you pay, let's say for 03, you pay $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. What researcher, doctor, professional in the healthcare industry say, you know what, I'm going to put $10,000 in and I'm going to get the cure to whatever it is. And it'll be, to me, no amount of dollars will be enough to do that. Because I think I was like, why are we building these things if we're actually not benefiting? And I think that to me is one big benefit. Maybe 1, maybe 2 this year that you'll have a system that'll be like, oh, took like an hour to think about it, maybe 30 minutes, but actually came up with, here's a solution for us.
sorry. I was just saying that I'm reading the dumb comments in there. My mind is back on you, Beth. Comments. I know better. I love you guys in the comments. You're the best. I love you, all of y'all, for all of your comments in there.
A really great one though. Jen's got a really great one. It's and this is for you, Karl. And this will be my wacky one. Karl's recycling problem will be alleviated in 2025. There won't be able to
That's the pie in the sky.
Yeah, that's my pie in the sky wacky one. Boom. Karl, when you pick it up, because you've already promised all of us and all of our viewers that you'll pick up the recycling robot.
So I'm going to attach a GoPro to this thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we will see it actually succeed or fail. And depends on the time of year too, because if it just happens to be in the winter, I was like, this is going to be even more difficult because it's snow and navigate all sorts of stuff. If in the summer, maybe it's easier. So we'll see.
Karl's recycling cam. I just want to comment on your medicine. I agree. I think personalized medicine will also be the other side of that. But for me, Karl, I think that the things that will get cured are small, rare diseases because they will be the first to adopt that. Right. Like, so it's got a certain number. And I would bet that it's a certain number of like a disease that affects a certain number of kids that isn't dominant enough to like be part of the research now. But it's they can pull their resources enough to make that really happen.
Like a rare symptom or like something that's like affects only 0.01% of the population or something like that.
Right. But the 0.01% pooling resources is going to be able to help. Yeah.
Okay, so based on time here, I do want to go to the comments. Okay, so this is sort of a real quick response from you guys. Glenn was asking early on thoughts on how infinite memory will factor in. That was based on our conversations earlier. I think, Andy, you had kind of kicked us off there. But just in general, when infinite memory, real quick, do we have any predictions on sort of infinite memory in 2025 from anybody?
I believe that there will be announcements that they have achieved it. And I also believe that infinite memory will be wrong. just like our infinite memories, it will not be accurate infinite memory, but that will be part of the pattern as opposed to a training error, right? Like we're expecting robots to be AI to be better than us. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Will people use less and less computers for communication because of lack of trust and overflog of AI interactions versus human? Will people use less and less computers for communication because of lack of a trust of interactions versus human? Ooh, I see what you're saying, Gwen. Like, this is from Gwen, by the way. Saying that will people be more skeptical? Maybe this goes to your point, Beth, about the maybe a chasm, or Jyunmi, what you were kind of predicting. Like, as it's evident that you're using more AIs and chatbots and it's not a human interaction, will that cause people to like use less customer service or more customer service because they're getting their answers solved faster? Or is there going to be a pushback to I'll go to the phone because eventually I know I'll talk to something? And yes, we know you can use AI in phones too, but is there going to be a push the other way? I guess that would be where my mind goes with that one. Any thoughts real quick?
Yeah, I think it'll be less an active choice to use less and less computers for that interaction, because I think the reason why those devices or those AIs were created was to fill the need, because nobody likes communicating with customer service if they don't have to. I think what we'll see is an increase of human interaction as a point of value. So I think people will value more of their human interactions and this is more on the personal side than less than on the business side. And it'll be more in-person events. It'll be more connecting with people overall. And this may take years to really manifest or be studied, but I think there's just going to be that chain of, this is all that stuff that I use the internet for, and then this is what's more valuable to me. So, larger message chains, direct messages, those kinds of things. But, you know, I think that's where people are just gonna naturally, tend toward, because they want those worlds to be more and more separated for them.
I 100% agree. And I've said this on the shows before. It's not a 2025 prediction, but I've said that I do think there will be a resurgence towards art galleries and things like that. There's going to be a desire and a push to see things that are authentically human created. And what I think that means is like more live events, like going to an art gallery and watching maybe one of your favorite artists paint something live. I can see it. They have a brush in their hand. They're creating it live on the canvas. There's no AI involved here. And I think the value of those types of experiences are going to go up quite a bit. The value of that type of art is going to go up. I think anywhere where people can definitively say AI had no impact on that, those values are going to go up for the things like art in our world and stuff, because as much as I love the stuff that can be created with AI, I think just as much it's going to push value towards things that are almost certifiably human. And there'll be value there. You know, whether that's somebody doing a carving or whatever the case may be, there's going to be a value there for artists. So I'm kind of with you on that one. Justin had a comment really quick, because I'm trying to move through these quick, and then there were some actual predictions. Justin said, for the average person in 2025, I could see more integration of machine learning in everyday tech, like Apple's approach, focus, predefined, and less broad than LLMs, easier to control. I think I definitely see pathways towards that. So I agree. Anybody else not agree with Justin on that one? No, I would say we're all on the same page there, right? Hold on. There was some.
Call out Cisco's prediction,
Yes, please.
which is that in 2025, Anthropic will deliver a model that rivals the O3 model. And I'm going to add to that and say, I think they'll surpass the O3 model. I think Anthropic will come out with something that's a leapfrog, but not in a dramatic way, but it will not just rival, but surpass O3.
Do you think Google will do the same? Just curious.
They have to. I don't know if you saw the note. I think there was some talk where like they had an all team meeting and they were talking about like, the 2025 is pretty big because everyone's like just racing now. And they see each other's like with DeepSeek coming in, and then what we saw at the last month of December, you can only bet. And you know what's crazy too is that the faster it goes, it's actually not good for businesses because they can't understand it. They're just like, "What the hell just happened?" No one I know understood what shipments was, but what happened in like that 2 week span could have been done in like 2-3 years. And
Yeah.
right, it's slow progression, but no one can do that. It's like, what just happened? This. I was like, I don't even know how to use this. Now you're telling me 7 different things that showed up. Imagine that now, 6 months of this. That's insane.
Which is why everybody should continue to come back and watch and like and subscribe to Daily AI Show, because that is exactly what we're trying to help with. I mean, it is the exact reason why the show was started and why we all got together, was that we know that this stuff is hard to keep up with. And basically, selfishly, we started a show to keep us all on our toes and make sure that we're keeping up with it day to day. And then, of course, we're having these conversations live so we can pass on those same conversations, you guys, and of course you're in the chat having it with us, and that is only going to grow in 2025 as well. So, to Karl's point, it all moves. So how could you possibly really deconstruct everything? We did our best over that shit miss period in December to really understand the true impact that just December's announcements from all the big players and the minor ones are going to have in 2025. We could do the next 15 shows on that. So like that's a good reason to keep coming back here. So I want to bring that up. I want to bring up Greg's because it's funny. He's like, let's go big, real big. And then he said Gregorian AI prediction 2026, number 11, a world where time becomes customizable. AI integrates with perception, altering technologies, enabling people to subjectively slow or speed up their experience of time. And then there was a pause. And then Greg said, that's too big. Sorry. I love that, Greg. I love that it was a prediction, but it was a 2026 prediction. We skipped 2025. And then he's like, that was too big. We went too big on that one or whatever. Okay. Gwen says prediction, increase in smaller businesses versus mass produced. Increase in smaller businesses versus mass produced. For AI, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Gwen. I'm just trying to, but yes, if you mean for like AI, will bigger, will smaller businesses get involved? Sorry, Gwen. Trying to make sure I understand that.
It could have been for agents or edge AI, right?
Okay, yeah, at that time.
That there were more.
Okay, you guys help me out because I want to make sure. Am I missing any tactical AI prediction number 4? Blockchain, the bane of all central authorities, melds with AI, enabling us to personally stay out of the eye in the sky's sight. Not 2025, but yeah, I could see that. That was from Greg. Anything else, guys? Then okay, now we're getting into the robot massage comments. We'll skip on past them. In 2025, I might like to hear less about Brian's glutes. Sorry, Jen, because you said that. It's happening more now, and I know you're going to enjoy it, Jen. I know you're going to enjoy it. So watch out in 2025. Glutes will be a big discussion. My glutes specifically, and I'll only call it my butt just to make it weirder. Doctors, Justin, Glenn.
On that note, everybody, thanks for joining us.
I know. Well, I just want to I don't want to, because I said put your predictions and I just didn't want to miss any on there. Predict more drones. Yeah, I think that's a good one, Gwen, on there. Okay, I do think I got to the bottom of the list. I just want to make sure everybody's voice was heard on there. I know we're over time. Okay, we didn't get to our daily iShow predictions. We'll do that another time. Hey, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Then we have New Year's Day this week. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people are off. So keep on coming back and joining us every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. We're here Monday through Friday. If you're just finding us because of this prediction show, welcome. Thank you. Obviously, we have lots of people in the comments, both on LinkedIn and YouTube, but I will be honest with you, YouTube is the better place to do it because we can read and react. And unfortunately, with the LinkedIn side, we can see it, but we can't respond to you directly. So YouTube is a little bit easier for that. But whether you're watching us on replay or live, thank you so much. Please hit the like and subscribe. Go to our website, dailyishow.com, and you can subscribe for our newsletter. Last edition, the 30th edition, went out yesterday. It goes out every Sunday, and it's even more. It's like being in the VIP room of this show where we just share even more stuff that goes beyond the live episodes. So that's it. I think, Jyunmi, is this our longest episode ever? Yes, it is. But over an hour. I know. And That's okay. If you're going to do it big on your prediction show for 2025. That's it, everybody. Bye. We will see you tomorrow for our New Year's Eve show.
Aloha.